Alright, okay, this should be good. 10th Wave versus Tarnarmour. Both will probably be out of practice, but both generally, you know, usually know their stuff, usually do put on a good show. So, again, tie down passage. We have 10th Wave as Coalition and Tarnarmour as Random. 10th rolling around in that beige and blue, and Tarnarmour rocking the black and beige by the looks of things. And here we are with 10th Wave, all in on the CUs. Well, yep, Tarnarmour gets Knef, and he is going for those CUs as well. Should be interesting to see how this plays out. Also, a distinct lack of Soban. I am disappointed not to see more Soban. I mean, I do understand Soban have pretty distinct problems. You know, I'd like to see more Soban. So, what are we likely to see? Hard to say currently. A couple of LAVs coming out here from 10th. Tarnarmour is already in mid, so I'm expecting to see some kind of rush. But a couple of skimmers. Yeah. I really hate skimmer openings for Galcian and Knef. But you do need a couple of skimmers just to maintain presence early on. Right. That's what we've got. We've got 4 LAVs against 2 skimmers and a blast drone. However, I suspect that this base runner's probably going to look at putting down a turret once the fight starts. Although if he does that, he really wants to put it higher up on the hill. Yeah, Tarnarmour doing good work to control this hill. Pull back. Pull back. Oh, come on. What is going on here? That's a really poor play by Tarnarmour. So, if you don't want to play as like a cheesy Muppet, what Tarnarmour could have done from the position he was in, he could have kept those 2 blast drones here, and then he would have been able to hit and run on the LAVs and the base runner, and he would have been able to prevent this extraction. And there's no way these LAVs would have been able to push over. But because Tarnarmour has been convinced by that the only thing you should do with blast drones is build 2 of them and rush the enemy eco, he threw a massive advantage away. But what do I know? I just, you know, I wasn't participating in these tournaments. I don't know anything. What are you doing? Why are you guys there like that? Blast drone comes out, gets wrecked by high ground, shock horror. I know exactly where this is going, and that is high ground damage from LAVs against skimmers which can't even reach while they're trying to get through base runner HP pool. You know what would have been really good for you, Tarnarmour? That blast drone. Ugh. Well, I can quite comfortably say, short of 10th making some kind of massive blunder, this is 10th's game to lose. Like, all he really needs to do is push his advantage. Tarnarmour has thrown away, what is it, 1,000 CUs now on blast drones? Yeah. There you go. You put some damage on the logistics module. Go you. Yeah. So let's see. We've got 10th. Yeah, he's branching out now, trying to get a gauge on what the situation is, what he's up against. Tarnarmour is going into rails, but again, he's got quite a deficit. All that 10th would really need to do is just spam more LAVs, and he could just, yeah, like, again, poor choice by 10th in my opinion. He could just be spamming LAVs, rush across, and with the numbers he'd be able to overwhelm these assault rails. Keep in mind, you need about 3-4 assault rails to really shut out LAVs. But yeah, that door's going to close pretty soon. And then there is the fact that you can, as Knef, you can cover your assault rails with blast drones. But based on Tarnarmour's current approach to using blast drones, I highly doubt we'd see anything as micro-intensive as that. AAV's kind of being thrown away. Yeah, should really have thrown smoke and then pulled away. Maybe try and lure those assault rails into turret range. Yeah. Again, I just... no, because even by pulling, like, just focusing on his economy and the artifact grabs, like, tends just even economically. Whereas 10th was in the position he could have really pushed, going into railgun tech now. So he's got to be putting out railguns to counter these. What would I like to see Tarnarmour do? So one of the most interesting things I found was that from railgun tech. So if you go in, you're playing Gaussian, you're playing Knef, you tech into railguns. Now, the obvious tech choice is to then carry on and get honor guard cruisers. The thing is, I did the numbers and the tech times, and for less resource cost and less time, you can actually tech assault ships and interceptors and build an interceptor. So for less and quicker than it would be to tech and then build an honor guard cruiser. Like which is pretty insane to me. So it is a legitimate option. If you're sat there thinking, do I want honor guard cruisers? Say to yourself at the same time, do I want air? Because it's a much nicer synergy with the railgun tech. What have we got going on? We've got a couple of railguns. 10th Wave's army is looking really anemic right now. If... You know, Tarnarmour can really see about pushing. If he gets good high ground, he can dominate those railguns and it would just be over. Got to make sure you get in range. Split fire, not a good choice, but at least that damage stays on. Where are those assault rails going? Should really be skimmers up here to scout for this kind of thing. But yeah, so 10th's only real edge being the fact that he had more railguns, and now he's lost 3 of them, and all that Tarnarmour lost was 3 assault rails, which are much cheaper. So good trade for Tarnarmour, and he is moving into his 3rd as well. So we're getting full eco from 2.5 eco for 10th, full eco for Tarnarmour. Again, really don't agree with the way that 10th handled that. He was in such a strong position early on, and he's just kind of sat in his laurels. He could have pushed and done some real damage and put himself ahead, but has played it a bit too safe. That said, if he can get high ground over Tarnarmour, he can get rid of these heavy railguns and put himself ahead. However, it doesn't look like that's how it's going to go, because this skimmer comes forward. So, right. Oh, one of those heavy rails does go down. Yep. Oh, was that another of the assault rails? Really do not agree with this positioning right now. Although 10th is setting himself up for a good backstab. There is nothing back here to stop it either, so these LAVs could do some good damage. At the very least, they're going to disrupt Tarnarmour, who doesn't have much at all to deal with with Strikecraft. So yeah, this could potentially be catastrophic for Tarnarmour. these come in. There's nothing here. So I suspect these two heavy railguns are going to die back here as well. I'll come back to my point about Strikecraft later. Right now, is it worth going for the production cruiser? That gives time for these to move over. Come on, 10th. You need to be punishing that carrier. Oh my god, don't tell me that... I think what's going to happen here is... 10th's going for that production cruiser. He might not get it. Why are these skimmers not getting in the fight there? Tarnarmour, you need to kill those now. Are you kidding me? 3 skimmers not doing damage, Tarnarmour. Yeah. With better micro there, better use of these units, Tarnarmour wouldn't have lost that production cruiser. That would have been really bad for... And 10th lost the hill completely. All that Tarnarmour needs to do is push. There's nothing. What is 10th doing? Did 10th go for a coffee or something? What am I watching here? 10th's building rails out of this. He's not building anything else. There's a turret which is buying him a little bit of time, but like yeah, turret's BEP. So the only thing in 10th's favour right now is the fact that Tarnarmour is currently on lower ground. He went for... You were going for air? I suppose it makes sense. There's not much to counter air, but like, you stopped building armies. You've got a massive bank. You should have at least been spamming LAVs in the meantime. Jesus. Oh, that's... Tarnarmour, where are you going? Push. What? Tarnarmour, you've won. Tarnarmour. 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 Right, so, for anyone who doesn't know, if you kill the enemy carrier, your opponent dies, and you win the game. If someone could let Tarnarmour know that, that would be great. LAV build speed. So yes, LAV build speed's pretty nasty. The other thing to keep in mind is the Khanef carrier missiles do 50% extra damage to carriers, which means that if you get the opportunity, you should probably shoot carriers with them. I'm watching Tarnarmour snipe LAVs with those missiles instead of his opponent's carrier. This is one hell of a throw. Wow. So, it's very important to keep in mind, micro is very important in this game. If you don't make proper use of the tools you have and put damage where it's most important and relevant, you will, yeah, like, 10th had it in the bag, screwed it up. Tarnarmour could have won, screwed it up. Even worse, I suppose. Like, that's just really strange to me. I'll be honest, I don't think 10th should have won that game. Like, Tarnarmour was perfectly positioned to win that, but for whatever reason, instead of killing the carrier, he was trying to destroy eco. Like, your carrier is next to the enemy's carrier. It shouldn't be difficult to see what the goal of, you know, being in that position should be. Okay.